All right, all right, all right. So, welcome to the GM. We're in this thing live this morning, Saturday. I think the date is April the 11th. I don't know if that's correct or not. I hadn't checked my calendar. When I'm typically off work, I typically don't check a calendar. And so, forgive me if that date is wrong, but I want to welcome you all. Whether you catch this in the live or you catch it in the record. Either way, man, thank you guys for being here. Got just a conversation for you guys today. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of buzz going around in Ravens Nation necessarily, but just wanted to get in here, man, and have a conversation about the Ravens. Uh, what's going on, the anti-narrative? Glad to see you in here. Can't wait to hear from you on this topic we got coming up. But the question, the thought for the weekend, the thought of the year for me right now is going to be the Ravens are win now mode. The future for the Ravens is now. And I say that kind of more of a declaration. I'll be away from the chat for a moment, so I won't be able to really kind of keep track of what you guys are talking about. But I will be just trying to keep up. But let me pitch this to you guys, man. I think that the time for the Ravens is now. And I know that we've kind of been saying that and hoping for that for some time now. We understand the Baltimore Ravens history, two championships, one in 2000, one in 2012, or the 2012 season to close out Ray Lewis's career. And we've had some other milestone moments since the championship season, but we've never really gotten close to a championship. And I know some of you may be wondering, Belanger, why you always talking about the championship? You got to learn how to enjoy the ride. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I've been on the ride for 26 years. Actually, it's more than that now. 96, 29, oh, 30. It's 30 years now. 30 years. I've been on this ride for 30 years and, you know, definitely have celebrated the high highs, championships, AFC championship, heartbreak, so on and so forth. And I've definitely experienced the lows, the moments and times that we didn't make the playoffs, the moments and times where we had major injury to our QB and it kind of felt like the season was lost. I was here for the excitement, just like all of you, for the start of the Lamar Jackson era. I was here for the excitement of the 2019 season when he was doing all kind of special things. I was here for the 2020 season when we got put out of the playoffs and Lamar went down with the injury in the Buffalo game. I was here for the 21 and 22 season when Lamar Jackson had his season cut short with injuries while scrambling in the pocket. I was here for the 2023 high of the AFC Championship and another MVP season. And I was also here for last year's MVP caliber season by Lamar Jackson. But let's step away from Lamar Jackson for a moment and let's just talk Ravens, right? Because if you've been a Ravens fan, whether you got introduced to the Ravens when Lamar Jackson came on the scene, you followed him from college, or you've been a Ravens fan since 1996, their inception year. Either way, man, we all want the same thing. We all want a championship to come to Baltimore. And a major factor in getting a championship is going to be putting it all together. We understand that to win a chip, it requires some health. We all understand that. It requires some luck. It definitely requires what I call untimely plays. Those are those plays uh, where it seems like there was no way. We all remember the Jacoby Jones catch in Denver. We all remember the Jacoby Jones kickoff return, which without that kickoff return, we don't win that Super Bowl. We all remember the Ray Rice 29-yard run against the Chargers, I believe. Um, If I'm remembering correctly, we all remember those moments. So to go on a championship run, it takes all of those things, right? And so I understand that it's definitely hard to win a chip. It absolutely is. But it seems like there may be a little bit of secret sauce, right? A little bit of a recipe to win a chip. How do we know? Well, we know the Patriots kind of um, was a consistent presence in the Super Bowl for about 2 decades, along with Tom Brady. We know that Eli Manning got in there and got him two Super Bowls. Peyton Manning, that is, got two Super Bowls. We know that Patrick Mahomes most recently got three Super Bowls. We know that the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts have been to the Super Bowl twice and got one. We know that the Los Angeles Rams have gone to the Super Bowl twice and captured one. And so we know that there is a an opportunity for a team to get on a hot streak over a 3, 4, 5 year span to where you can be present in the big game and not only be present but capture a chip, right? And so I think that when we consider the Baltimore Ravens, when we kind of think about where we are, it's no point in talking about the future because I think that's now. You see, I spent a couple of videos showing you guys, sharing with you guys how the salary cap has gone up 40% over the last 6 seasons. But when you see positional salary increases, it has exponentially surpassed the cap. And teams are not going to be able to continue to retain good talent. You're going to start seeing talent shift a lot more and a lot more often because the 180% increase between the quarterback, the running back, the tight end, and also the wide receiver market compared to the cap in that same time span is 140% over market, right? It's 140% more than what the cap has expanded. And I don't know about you, but I don't know how any team is going to be able to keep up with that. And we just talked about the offensive side of the ball. And I'll show you probably next week how the defensive numbers have expanded as well. But when we think about the Ravens and we think about the Ravens' future, we understand we got some blue chip level players on our roster. Even guys who was not drafted in the first round still have shown up as a blue chip type prospect. We understand the Kyle Hamilton and maybe Nate Wiggins, depending on what he looks like this next season, and him being able to stay healthy. We got a guy like an Isaiah Likely, and of course, we got Lamar Jackson, so on and so forth. And so the future for the Ravens, we could say, is bright. But I think that future has to be happening right now. I believe that the Baltimore Ravens have to be, must be, and are in win now mode. I think 2026 must be the year that the Baltimore Ravens actually capture the championship. I think it has to be this year, because there's going to be so much turnover just based on contract, new salary extensions, whatever you want to call it, that it's going to be a greater push for rookies and second year players to kind of fill in roles that a Super Bowl window can open and close just as fast. You see, when you think about the last, let's go 8 seasons, that would be 8 seasons of the Lamar Jackson era: 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 20 and 25. There have been multiple teams visiting the Super Bowl. And I mentioned some of those teams earlier. You've seen the Rams, the 49ers, the Eagles. Those are the NFC teams visit the Super Bowl multiple times. And then, of course, we know Tampa Bay got one with Tom Brady. And then in the AFC, you've seen the Chiefs, you've seen the Bengals, and I think the Patriots. But that's been it. And so there is something that a team must do in order to get the chip. And I think that is have a sense of urgency. And I don't think that we've had that, right? I think that we've talked about, meaning the Ravens kind of have a, respect the process methodology. And I respect that. I know that things are a process. I know that things take time. But no matter what kind of recipe you're putting together, once it goes into the oven, right, that thing has to get baked. And I think that this must be the year that the product is complete. Give me one sec. And so let me go back to my first slide. And so the Ravens, we all kind of ride with the 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 moniker Flock Nation, the Flock, or whatever. And it only just represents who we are as a fan base, a proud fan base, and really a fan base that has learned to expect winning, right? I think we all have learned to expect winning in Baltimore, although we only have a 30-year history. And in that 30 years, we only have two championships, but we have learned to expect winning. We won during the Ray Lewis era. And when the Ray Lewis era began to transition to Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and T Suggs, Ray, Ed, Terrell Suggs, and Joe Flacco, Ray Rice. We won in that era, and now we've been winning in the Lamar Jackson era, but we haven't won. And I know we can speak to what has held us up. We can speak to a lack of playoff performance. We can speak to a lack of good coaching. We can speak to um, the Baltimore Ravens not having the right coach. We can speak to maybe a lot of turnover defensively and offensively. We could speak to in times past, maybe the Baltimore Ravens lacked a number one wide receiver, and that still can be debated if you would like. We talked about in past times that the Baltimore Ravens don't have a killer mentality. Uh, we can talk about all of those things, right? Because in truth, the Baltimore Ravens have had a number one defense when they've been on a playoff run. They've had a top two and three offense over the last two seasons. And no matter what type of team we had, no matter how the roster was built, we still got there and came up short. And I think it's time out. I think it must be time out for us as a fan base, for us as a coaching staff, for us as an organization to keep the mentality of we just keep plugging away. We'll just keep plugging away until we break through, right? Because there is a reality, and I know it's a harsh reality, but there is a reality that you can plug along so long that you still don't break through, right? In the Tom Brady era, you had Eli Manning jump in and get two chips off of Tom Brady. You had Peyton Manning jump in and get two chips, um, during the Tom Brady reign. Then you had Patrick Mahomes closing out the Tom Brady era. Then you had Jalen Hurts got one. What's that dude name? Nick Foles. He ended up getting one off of Tom Brady, and then but the Ravens and other teams like the Ravens are teams who have franchise quarterbacks. We still haven't broke through. Now I don't care if Buffalo never breaks through, right? I don't care if the Bengals never break through. Then that's not a matter to me. I'm just speaking to the fact that there is a situation where teams have franchise quarterbacks and they have certain ingredients to the recipe, but they're not getting over that hump. And so I think this cannot be another year. This can't be another year where we chalk it up as, well, we didn't run the ball enough. The defense didn't play well enough. We can't chalk it up anymore to, well, Lamar Jackson made two early mistakes, but he played great late. All of that sounds real good. And I'm not blaming anything on Lamar or the defense or the coaching staff. I'm just taking a holistic approach to this conversation, and I'm simply saying we have not been good enough. And this can't be that same year because there is a great chance that a lot of our major parts, so to speak, they begin to depart. We understand the implications around um, Marlon Humphrey's contract. We understand the implications around um, Mark Andrews remaining in Baltimore. We understand that Ronnie Stanley is on borrowed time, being a 31-year-old left tackle. We understand that Roquan Smith is not going to be the all pro player that he is at this point in time. We understand all of that. We understand that Kyle Hamilton um, isn't always going to be able to um, be the most dominant safety in the game. Now he's young and he has a lot of years left. At least that's what we expect because of his age. But in truth, we have to get to a place where we take advantage of roster construction, right? We have to get to a place where we're taking advantage of the opportunities that we have in front of us. And when we've had the best defense, when we had a top three offense, we have not done that. And so the first question for today is as we head into um, this year's draft, now let me be honest, I'm not expecting too much from the draft. I'm expecting good players. I'm expecting a quality group, um, but I don't put too much weight on draft picks. I don't because they're rookies and they don't have no NFL experience. It doesn't matter which round they were picked in. You do have guys who can come in and ball right away. You do have guys who can come in and make an impact right away. And I do expect somebody to come in this season and ball. But the question is, do the Baltimore Ravens have the offensive firepower? Now, the easy answer is to say yes. Yes, we have the offensive artillery to compete with anybody in the league. And I would say yes, right off. But do we have enough? You see, here's why this question is profound. Okay, the question is profound simply because we've seen an offense who has been top two or three the last two playoff runs stall out in some aspects. We we've seen the offense not be able to move the ball in the playoffs in some aspects. Regular season, I'm not even really concerned about. The regular season at this point for the Baltimore Ravens should be like practice for what we need to be doing in the playoffs. Okay. But I wonder, right? I wonder if we have enough. Now, am I saying that Lamar Jackson needs a number one wide receiver and a top end number two and the best tight end corps, and then turn around and have the best offensive line, and then turn around and have the best running back room? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is when we add up the sum total offensively, do we have enough? Do we have a number one wide receiver? I'm not saying Zay isn't, but I'm not going to just flat out say that he is either. You see, because we have two playoff seasons where one he made two huge mistakes, and then the other two he was absent due to injury. Again, I'm not knocking him for being injured. I'm just asking a legitimate question. Do we have a guy? I understand that Rashad Bateman is coming off his best season ever, but for a first round pick who's now going into his fifth season, how much are we saying? Again, this is no criticism to the Baltimore Ravens. Please hear me. These are questions that we must answer. See, because it's in answering these questions that speak to now. These questions can't be answered in 2026 offseason. We can't afford another offseason where we're saying, well, we still need offensive line help. Well, uh, Bateman, he didn't show up this season, or Zay, he took a step back this season. These are not things that we can afford. Number one receivers don't take steps back until it's near the end of their career. You see, we still have questions about an offensive line that we've had questions about for the last 3 or 4 seasons. You see, many of you, if you're honest with yourself, you have questions about what's that guy's name? Daniel Falele. Although he started 17 games regular season and 2 games in the playoffs, and he was a fringe Pro Bowler, but you still have questions about him. But we know the Ravens are going to stroll into the season with him at the starting right guard. I don't. I mean, it does. Whatever they do is what they do. I'm not knocking the decision, but do we have the offensive firepower? And I think the linchpin to answering that question is the offensive line. Is it going to be good enough? Is it? Because at inopportune times, it lets up and it lets down. When you look at the turnovers from the AFC Championship 2 seasons ago, basically, it was offensive line letdowns that caused those turnovers. In part or whole. Maybe not the interception to Isaiah Likely, but some of the other stuff that was going on, it was offensive line. The strip sack fumble was offensive line. This past season, it was the offensive line who initiated the fumble, where the snap was bad and Lamar Jackson fumbles. Am I saying that's all on Tyler Linderbaum? No, no, ma'am, no, sir, I'm not. But what I'm saying is the offensive line good enough? And I'm tired of that mentality of good enough. See, because again, in Baltimore, we have that kind of mindset to where as long as we have Lamar, we have enough. That's what we're saying. As long as you got Lamar, you got a chance. So the phrase really translates to as long as we have a Lamar, we have enough. But that hasn't proven to be true. And so I'm saying the now is answering the question, do we have enough offensive firepower? We can look and we can say, oh, yeah, we got Derrick Henry in the backfield. That should be enough. We got Zay and Bate at the top of the wide receiver charts. And then we got DeAndre Hopkins. That should be enough. Got the best tight end room in the league, at least right now. That should be enough. And I know when I say it that way, man, it sounds like this team is loaded. But there's something about this offense that continues to falter. And I believe it's the offensive line. Why am I talking about this? You see, because I've seen just like you, I saw all the mock drafts, I've seen all of the analysis, I've seen all of the conversations surrounding the Baltimore Ravens, who they should draft, and I rarely ever see offensive line in that first round. I rarely ever see it. I hear edge, I hear safety, I hear interior defensive line, but I rarely ever hear offensive line. But in truth, that's what falters and has been faltering every offseason. The pass rushing groups are not getting worse, they're getting better. Let me say that again. The pass rushing groups aren't getting worse around the league, they're getting better. But is our offensive line getting better? Or is it just the same? So, the first question I think we have to answer about now is, do we have enough? And firepower isn't just a what happens on the perimeter. Firepower for me is also including the trenches, which is becoming more and more important for the Baltimore Ravens. The next question of now is, will we have the defensive effectiveness? From what season? The 2023 season being the top defense to being one of the worst defenses the first 11 games of the season. We don't know what hit us. We don't know why that was happening. We don't know what went wrong. And it's easy to speculate. It's easy to speculate, right? What went wrong? Well, it was Zach Orr's scheme, or maybe it was the inefficient play of the safety, or maybe it was Roquan, Roquan having to compensate for Trenton Simpson, or maybe it was a lack of a effective edge rush. Although we led the league, or we were in top two of sacks, maybe we led the league in sacks, but but uh but the thing is, why did we fall off? Nobody knows. Even Zach Orr and John Harbaugh don't know. They don't know. They don't know why the Ravens were so bad first of the season. Now we know what we saw, right? We know what we saw when it comes to um uh what am I trying to think of? We know what we saw on film. We saw that that um the safeties were playing bad. We saw that Marcus Williams was ineffective. We saw that Eddie Jackson was wrong place, wrong time. I talk about right place, right time a lot, but Eddie Jackson was wrong place, wrong time a lot last year. But why? Why? Why was that when we put so much attention on defense? Why didn't we have defensive effectiveness? Why wasn't this? Watch this. Here's a big question. Why wasn't that picked up in the offseason? Why didn't nobody notice that Marcus Williams may not be able to play in the Zach Orr system? Why didn't nobody recognize that Eddie Jackson may not be the right guy for that defense? Why didn't nobody pick up coaching? I mean, why didn't nobody pick up that Trent Simpson didn't have what it takes? How do we know? Because when he got on the field, he was under that pressure. He didn't have what it took. So the question is, was it just Kyle Hamilton going back and playing a little deeper and so on and so forth that made the big difference? Was it just the introduction to the starting lineup for an Ardarius Washington? And another question, why didn't it happen earlier? Why did it take to week 10 or 11 for Ardarius Washington to take over as starter if it had been bad safety play all season? That's a real question. Again, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm asking, excuse me, the questions of now. We can no longer go through the trial and error of another season and then get into the playoffs and get our heads busted and then come back here and say, man, heartbreak. Man, I really feel bad. Really, I'm really pissed off. Man, it doesn't make any sense. Man, it's Lamar Jackson's fault. Man, it's Mark Andrews' fault. The defense was getting pushed around in the first half. We can no longer go through that. The whole regular season was trial and error. That's when you're supposed to validate yourself and prove yourself. We were supposed to show up in the playoffs and not get pushed around. We were supposed to show up in the playoffs and not get dominated in some aspects of the game. But that's what happened. So, do we have the defensive effectiveness? And I'll tell you something. If that answer is no, that draft won't fix it. A rookie corner or a rookie edge will not fix it. Yeah, I've seen as of late the conversations around the Baltimore Ravens in pursuit of an interior linebacker in Jared Bailey. To be honest, I don't have a clue who he is. I never even heard his name until I read the article. Then I had to look him up. And I know that the veteran linebackers from last year are gone. So I respect the idea of getting a veteran interior linebacker. But the question still has to be answered. When you mixing up this recipe and you put that thing in the oven, is it gonna come out the right way? Again, I'm not doubting them. I'm asking a question that we all have when we get to the playoffs. We all have the questions that I'm asking right now. Offensive firepower, defensive effectiveness. Those are the same questions we have when we go to the playoffs. You guys know what I'm telling you is the truth. I'm just asking it before the draft. I'm just asking it before rookie minicamp. I'm just asking it before offseason workouts. I'm just asking it before training camp. I'm just asking it before the preseason. I'm just asking it before the season starts. Do we have it? And if we don't, how do we get it? Yeah, special teams. Special teams. It is a facet of the Baltimore Ravens who have fallen down and they haven't got up yet. They are falling down and they haven't got up yet. Uh, yeah, I do agree. I do agree with you, guys in the chat. I absolutely agree with you guys. Do me a favor, man. If you hadn't hit the like button, hit the like button. And if you're not a subscriber, do me that favor and hit subscribe as well. Appreciate you guys for being in the chat, for sure. Um, but those are real questions. And special teams, like now here's what's crazy, right? You tell me now, for those of you who's still in the chat, drop that you drop in there that you agree or whatever what other kind of comment you want about special teams. Now, John Harbaugh, if I'm not mistaken, came from a special teams coordinator type situation into becoming the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. That is correct, correct? 'Cause I just want to make sure my information is right. So how come that our special teams don't ever make plays? In the last 5 or 6 seasons, I remember one punt or kickoff return, maybe two. I think Devin Duvernay took one back, and I think Talon Wallace took one back. And I guess, maybe you get one or two per year, I guess. But our special teams hadn't been great. And for John Harbaugh to be a special teams coach in some aspects before he became a head coach, the special teams for the Baltimore Ravens have been insufferable. You have Justin Tucker, who's been bad, and I do see his replacement coming this season. Uh, I'll talk about that when I do my final mock draft, or I complete the mock draft I've been showing you guys. Uh, but it hasn't been good. It has not been good at all in Baltimore. Thank you for answering that. Okay, I thought I was right about John Harbaugh being special teams coach, and so what's missing? What's missing in special teams? Right? Why is our special teams not effective? Right? Why don't we get any block punts? Right? Why don't we get any block field goals? Why don't we have anything? I don't ever see, and I know, I get it. I know as of late, special teams rules have changed, so you're not going to get as many kick returns, or you're not going to get as many punt returns, and those kind of things. So I get that part, I do. But we haven't been good, and so the question um, is our special teams adequate enough to get us over the hump? Because I don't know that it is. I don't know that our special teams are going to be good enough to get us over the hump. You see, when I take a step back and really begin to think about the Baltimore Ravens, um, I think that being able to do it now is a matter of mindset. It's a matter of perspective, and it's a matter of having leadership on the field, off the field, in the locker room. And I think that's a part of the thing. I didn't put coaching on my slides, but coaching is a big part of that. And I know we've added some valuable coaching pieces this offseason. So maybe coaching will improve. So maybe that creates a better version of offensive firepower. Maybe that creates an improved version of defensive effectiveness. And maybe we'll pick up some dudes in the draft who can give us a spark, special teams wise. Maybe we'll get a new kicker. Maybe, but the interesting thing, they've been keeping it quiet about Justin Tucker. Maybe we pick up a guy who is a return specialist, and maybe we can gain some extra yardage or take advantage of a special teams touchdown, or maybe we get a guy who's an ace on special teams who can get a block. Maybe we find another 6'8" defender who can get in the middle on kick field goals and knock down some passes, excuse me, knock down some kicks like a Calais Campbell. But whatever we do from this point on, it must be with urgency and it must be a focus of now. See, the reason why I think this is important that we must win now, because I don't think that the Ravens always operate with a now perspective. I'm super super aware, just like you guys are. EDC did say, "Hey, uh, he don't believe in Super Bowl windows." Well, if he before he by the time he believes in it, our window will be closed. He also said that the offense line will be better next year than this year. Well, how can you build an offensive line for the season you're in, but you're talking about the 2025 season? That's what I'm saying. That kind of mentality doesn't speak to now. It always speaks to future team building, but the urgency must be in the team building right now. So I don't have a lot for you guys today. I just wanted to get in here and touch base with you guys. And it's my goal from starting Monday all the way through the entire draft. I'm going to bring you content, commentary of some sort every single day. Um, because on draft night we are going to launch a campaign. I was going to do it last week, but we didn't. I'm gonna launch a campaign. It's going to be forward focused, and I'm on my way to 1,000. It took us a little bit to even get over 900, but when we get to 1,000, we're going to do a name change. We will transition from the GM to a new name that'll speak to more of what we'll be doing here on the channel. And so, man, I appreciate you guys for hanging with me, man. Let me jump into the chat. Let me see if I missed any comments, things I need to address specifically. Give me one sec. But I think it's now. I think there is no more opportunity for us uh, as a Ravens fan base to just continue to wait. I don't know about you, but I despise end of the season heartbreak. I despise um, having the best defense. Let's see. Hold on one second. Geno Stone needs to. Yeah, I definitely heard. I've heard some talk about Geno Stone coming back. Deshaun, I definitely have, um, for sure. And the Bengals may put him on the street. They may, but I don't know. I don't know that they will. Because I know that they're going to have a fear that we're going to pick him up if he gets on if he gets released. Um, I do not see them trading him back, but I think that not even Geno Stone. I think Julian Blackman, not Blackman. Yeah. Julian Blackman. I think he would be a great pickup, an upgrade over Darius Washington. He's a playmaker. He has good back end coverage, and so I think he could be an upgrade for that same position that you're referencing, Deshaun, for sure. Deshaun, let me ask you a question. Um, hey, what's going on? I think it's Drift. What's going on, man? Hope you guys are doing. Hope you guys are doing well. Um, game in NC. Let's see. Nothing going on in NC. Drift, you in North Carolina too? I see. There's a lot of Ravens Nation down here in North Carolina. I think Black Daniels is in North Carolina also. Um, Hey, would either one of you guys, anybody in the chat, would either one of you guys like to join the show live? You don't have to show your face or anything like that. You can just join audibly. Um, let's see. Hold on. Uh, okay, High Point. Okay, okay, yes, sir. Um, but anybody would like to join the show? I'm trying. Like I said, I told y'all guys, I'm changing gears when it comes to um, the show format. I'm going to do a little bit more conversation. I like that style. I like talking ball. I like hearing different perspectives, and I like the banter. I like the debate, and um, that's really why we started the show. So you got anybody who's interested, where you see it in the live, or you see it in the recorded version. Anybody who's interested, man, in having live debate with here on the GM, by all means, don't do it in the chat. Don't do it in the chat, but jump into comment section. Um, jump in the comment section and let me know that you're in if you're interested. Oh, Deshaun, what I was going to ask you, you said, what's my question? I was going to ask you, are you interested in joining the show in a live audio format? I can drop you. Now, it won't be this one, but in the coming weeks, especially up until the draft. In fact, I'm going to, well, I'm glad, you know what, just let me tell you what I'm planning so you guys will know. So on draft night specifically, I'm alive. I'm gonna be live the first 10 picks. I'm not gonna do the whole first round, man. That's a 3 or 4 hour endeavor. That's insane. Okay. That's insane. That's insane to be live for 3 or 4 hours. But on draft night, I'm gonna do the first 10 picks live. We're gonna chop it up about that. And then we're gonna jump back in around pick 20. Because if the Baltimore Ravens are gonna make any moves, trades, or whatever, it's gonna happen between 20 and 27. And so I want to jump in uh, and uh, and do the last 12 picks of the first round. We'll be live for that, and then we're just gonna have some all around banter ongoing. And so, man, so again, anybody who hears this live, which is now, or in the recording, jump into the comment, not in the chat, but jump into the comment section and let me know that you're interested, and I'll contact you guys and see what we can get set up. Because, like I said, my goal is not to be the only person on here talking. My goal is to have conversation, just like we do at the barbershop, just like we do after church. Uh, um, just like we do, those formats. Want to chop it up that way. So jump in the comment section, man. Anybody who's interested in live audio conversation, or you can turn your camera on if you want to. It don't matter to me, and we can want to chop it up about the Ravens and football as a whole. I do agree. Yeah, this draft, I think we'll be big on defense for sure. Um, I think that I'm in agreement with you, Deshaun. In fact, the defensive side of the ball is a little deeper, actually a lot deeper than the offense side of the ball. I mean, there are some position groups. A running back is pretty deep. Good running backs go about 10 to 12 deep. From what I've paid attention to, offensive linemen probably can go, especially when it comes to interior, you can probably go 20 players deep. You can go deep into the fourth round and get some quality depth, and even maybe you find a plug and play type starter offensive line wise. Wide receivers, they probably go 12 deep quality. Then you have a drop off. And when I say quality, that doesn't mean that every player that you come across is going to be big time. But I think that that position is deep. Interior defensive lineman is deep, and the edge rush position is not that deep this year. I think you're going to get about 10 good players, and then the rest are going to be developmental pieces. But any rookie is developmental as he transitions into the league. But listen, man, that's all I got for you guys today, man. I want to talk to you guys again. If you're interested in joining the live conversation with the GM, let me know. Jump into the comment section, not the chat, because when this closes, I don't have the chat anymore. Jump into the comment section. Let me know that you're interested, and I'll be contacting you guys, and we'll get something set up, man. So listen, I appreciate you guys. I'm your guy, Boulanger. This is the GM, and we are out.